Zapier has always been a simple, accessible tool for creating automations, but building Zaps is getting even easier and faster with Zapier's latest AI features. Today, I'm going to show you 3 new ways you can instantly construct automated steps with some help from AI. Hi, I'm Tom from XRay.tech, the workflow company. At XRay, we use low-code automation tools like Zapier to create time for businesses and their people. If you'd like to see more time-saving tips and tutorials every single week, be sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And click on that bell to get notified as soon as a new video is live. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 of Zapier's new AI tools that can generate a formatter step, code blocks, and even entire Zaps based on a short AI prompt. All of these features are in beta, and they'll likely change significantly over the next few months as Zapier collects feedback and refines their software. But they already show a lot of potential for transforming the way that we build Zaps. There's a lot to cover here, so let's get started. To start, I'm going to show you one of the most useful AI features that Zapier's added recently, AI-assisted formatter steps. With Zapier's new AI-assisted formatter steps, you can create and configure a formatter step with a prompt instead of manually entering each setting. This can especially be useful if you're not sure about all the exact syntax and options you need to enter to get the output you want. There are dozens of basic actions that formatter can run, from regex and text formatting to math operations and date and time utilities. Now, you can access all of these from the same place with an AI prompt. Let's try adding a formatter step to a Zapier automation with AI. This Zap runs whenever there's a new email in the XRay Tutorials Gmail inbox. Then, it sends a Slack message directly to our tutorials channel in Slack. The alert includes the sender name and email, the subject, and the date and time the email was received. But I'm not happy with how the time is formatted right out of Gmail. It's a little ugly, and I want it to be easy to read. I want to see the full name of the month and a simple 12-hour time in my time zone, Eastern US. When you hover over any piece of data in Zapier now, you see this Format Data option. So let's click on this option for the date. You'll see a simple prompt window show up in the middle of the screen. It tells us to describe how we want to format the data. They give some examples with really specific syntax, like month, date, and year, and there are other more specific examples here. But the whole point of AI in a formatter step is so that you don't need to know the format. You can just simply explain in plain English exactly what you want to do. So let's see if we can change the format to use the full month name and a 12-hour time in EST. Let's give it a try. Click on Create Step, and just wait a few seconds. A formatter step has been created. Let's review this step and make sure that it does exactly what we want. So I scroll to the top and I see that it's a formatter step. The value is the date, and there's a bunch of extra fields here. We don't need these, and we can just remove the extra fields. We've noticed that that happens quite often with AI steps, and maybe that'll be worked out after it's out of beta. This actually looks pretty good. The input is the date from our trigger Gmail step, and the format, well, we don't really know if this is the right format. We're going to have to test it to find out. And the to time zone is US Eastern Time, and the from time zone is UTC. Now, as a quick aside, the from time zone being UTC actually stands for Coordinated Universal Time. Most applications use UTC to make sure that users all over the world are seeing a precise and consistent time, no matter what time zone they're in. The formatter step will help us convert to our local time zone, which in this case is US Eastern, and we're pretty sure this looks right. Let's give it a test and see. And this output is exactly what we wanted. It has the full month name and a 12-hour time, and even added the AM PM. To be clear, Zapier will only use AI to configure the formatter step and add it to the Zap. When the Zap runs, it won't send any sort of AI prompt. It will just use the formatter step that you've configured. Ultimately, Format with AI is great for quickly adding formatter steps when you don't know the exact syntax or appropriate formatter option you need to use. It lets you skip looking up precise information about various ways of formatting data, and instead lets you quickly add a new step to your Zap with a short prompt. This is one of the best use cases we've seen for AI in automation. By using AI to create a formatter step, we can save a lot of time that would have been spent on searching for the right tools and syntax to use. But unlike a lot of other AI implementations, the output here is static. Once we have a formatter step we like, we can keep using it in our Zap permanently. We don't have to worry about an inconsistent AI giving us poor answers half the time our Zap runs. Additionally, using the formatter step in the future doesn't require us to keep sending API requests to an AI, meaning that it doesn't come with any additional charges or count against an OpenAI credit, for example. We can just keep using the formatter steps that we know will work for as long as we want. And for now, Zapier isn't charging any additional fees to use this or any other AI feature. The next AI tool that we'll look at offers a lot of the same benefits as it lets us generate a static Zapier action with an AI prompt. Let's explore generating code blocks in Zapier with AI prompts. Now, we love no-code solutions at XRay. They're fast to build and easy to maintain, even for people with less technical knowledge. But sometimes a bit of code is necessary to elevate your automations from good to great. In many cases, adding a code step to your Zap won't strictly be required, but it may help to reduce several formatter steps or awkward paths modules into a single efficient step. And now with Zapier's new AI generation features, you can include code blocks in your Zaps even if you don't know how to code at all. Let's see it in action. In this Airtable base, I've got a companies table that I imported from Notion. Each record includes the name of one or more contacts in this field, along with a Notion URL that is the contact's associated page. Let's say I want to extract the name from this field and rearrange the name to start with the last name first. So instead of having John Smith and a long URL, I'm able to have Smith, John. I could probably do this with a couple of formatter steps, but why not try to do it with a single code block? I already have an Airtable trigger to retrieve new records in our contacts table. For my test, I want to make sure that I actually have two names in the contacts field. Extracting one name would be pretty simple. Extracting two or more names from the same piece of text would take a little more complicated regex, so I want to see if the AI code block can handle that for me. Now we're going to want to use code by Zapier. Now if you don't see it on the right or in your top apps here, you can just type code and it should be the first one. Then we're given the option to use JavaScript or Python. I'm pretty familiar with JavaScript, but when it comes to Python, I've never even written a Hello World program. But since this is all about having the AI write code for us, let's try Python. Let's see if the AI can write usable code without requiring me to make any edits at all. In this panel on the right, you can see that you can add input data or write your Python code directly right here. But since we don't know any Python, let's generate some with AI. When I click on the Generate with AI button, I'm shown this modal in the middle of the screen. Here, I can be as specific as I'd like about what I want the code to do, but know that I'm limited to only 1,000 characters. I've prepared a prompt here that should get us pretty close, so let's give it a try. We want to extract any names found in the contacts field. Each name should consist of a first name and a last name, example, John Smith, and exclude any URLs or other symbols. Output the names retrieved with the last name first, example, Smith, John. Note that we're not using any technical language or syntax here, we're just describing what we want in plain English. Click Generate Code to get an AI-generated code block. This will take a few seconds. And there we are. Now you can review the AI-generated code. Now, it might not look familiar to you or make much sense, but that's okay. You can see, in Python at least, the hashtag is a comment. So the AI is actually commenting the code so you can follow along in just plain English, getting the contacts field from the input data, etc., etc. So this is what the code looks like, or the code that was generated from our prompt. Let's check the other fields. Our input data, contacts, it actually selected the right variable that we wanted it to pull. And the output data, let's run the code and give it a try. And the output is just two names with the last name first and no URLs. Let's click on Use Code and add it to our Zap. Now we can see that the contacts label was applied here and the variable from our step 1 is added here. And all of the code that we reviewed and might not understand is right here. We can continue. And now we can test this code step just like any other action in Zapier. And we get two names formatted like we wanted. Great. By just writing a simple prompt in plain English, we're able to add some code to our Zap, eliminating the need for several formatter steps. You could also use a code step to handle complicated if-then statements, branching paths, and more. Even if you have absolutely no coding experience at all, you can now get all the benefits of incorporating just a little bit of code in your Zaps by simply writing an AI prompt in simple English. Finally, let's take a look at building an entire Zap with a single AI prompt. But before you get too excited, I want to warn you, this feature is not quite as impressive as it sounds, at least not yet. For now, it's very similar to the Zapier plugin in ChatGPT. We've covered this plugin in a separate video here, or you can find it in the resources board linked down below. But for now, let's look at the AI builder in Zapier directly, and I'll show you exactly what I mean. I'll create a new Zap, and at the top of the screen, there's now an option to enter an AI prompt. When you enter a prompt, the AI will try to build your Zap instead of requiring you to select each step manually. This can be somewhat useful, but definitely has a lot of limitations. It will usually pick the right apps and actions to get your Zap started. However, it won't be able to sign into any of your apps or configure many of the settings inside of each step. I'll enter a prompt to try to build the Gmail Slack automation I showed you earlier. I'll provide some information about the accounts I want to use and the way each step should be configured, but the AI likely won't be able to use most of it. Here's the prompt. When I receive an email in my Gmail inbox, xray.tutorials@gmail.com, send a Slack alert about the email in the tutorials channel of XRay's Slack workspace. In the alert, include the email's subject and sender, as well as the date and time the email was received. Now I'll click on Generate and wait for Zapier's AI to build my Zap. This looks generally correct. I'm going to click on Try It. Now I have my 2 steps added to this automation. When I click on the trigger, I still need to choose my account. It's not able to select accounts and map the actions. It really is for just selecting the app and the event. And in this case, Gmail and new email is what the AI was able to put together. So I'll choose my account, continue, and test the trigger. I'll continue with this record, and the same is true in Slack. The correct application and event send channel message was selected by the AI, but the account was not. So let's do it again. Continue. Note that it also didn't pick a channel. So let's select our channel now. Tutorials. And in the message text, we see that it actually tried. We have the from name, the from email, the subject, date, and body in plain text. The problem here, though, is that all these variables are yellow and have an exclamation point next to them. This means that they're essentially placeholder variables. These are not connected to our Gmail step. A little trick here is actually clicking on this variable and selecting the variable you want to replace it with. Zapier will automatically switch places. It eliminates the placeholder and adds in the selected variable from, in this case, our Gmail trigger. So we're going to say the from email is here, the subject, the date, and the body. Not bad. Ultimately, it gives us a workable skeleton of a Zap, but it mostly just picks the apps and actions for us. But if you have a long automation that you're planning, this really might be a good way to save some time. In general, the best way to use AI-generated Zaps is to briefly ask for the apps and actions you want to use, since that's all the AI will likely be able to set up, at least at the time of this recording. You can also provide a bit more detail about what you want to include in text-based fields, since the AI may be able to fill those out pretty well. However, you're limited to 400 characters in your prompt, so you'll need to keep it short anyway. Hopefully, Zapier will keep improving the AI and make sure that it can properly map data in its answers. All things considered, the other AI features we covered today are definitely going to be more useful for most builders right now. AI continues to open up doors for no-code and low-code builders. Like many apps, Zapier is eagerly embracing the opportunities offered by the AI revolution, and as a result, it's getting even faster and easier to build automations on their platform. I encourage you to explore these new AI features for yourself and try using prompts to build the Zaps, formatter steps, and code blocks that you need. If you've enjoyed this video, prove you're human, like and subscribe for more automation tips every single week. If you'd like to learn more about low-code automation and workflow design, follow us on LinkedIn, Twitter, and Facebook, and you can find all of our content on our website at xray.tech. You can check all those links in the resources board down below, and as always, find your focus and stay in flow. Trying to future-proof yourself? Start designing the way your team works with no-code tools, automation, and AI. In XRay's Workflow Designer course, we'll show you how to break down every part of a process to find the best opportunities for automation, and how to integrate those automations into your team's daily work. You'll learn how to create time for your entire team, get more reliable results, and give everyone a newfound clarity and confidence in their work. Just go to this URL to learn more. The entire package includes over 2 hours of premium video content, challenging example projects, and tons of helpful resources. The course costs just $250 and gives you lifetime access to a Slack community of workflow designers building systems in dozens of different industries. Space is limited, so join the free waiting list today to get notified as soon as the course is live later this year. Thanks for watching, and we hope to see you soon in our Workflow Designer course.